friend. Through this lecture, we will uncover key principles, analyze practical challenges, and discuss solutions used in our industry related to the heat exchanger, especially the plate and the frame heat exchanger. We will know the disadvantage of using this type of exchangers and the merits or the disadvantage of using this type of exchanger. When we will select this exchanger, when we will not select this exchanger, this type. Today we will discuss in detail plate and frame heat exchanger. As we can see from the drawing here, we have the main composition for the plate and the frame heat exchanger, and we have many plates, and the target of these many plates to increase the surface area for the heat exchanging. As we can see from the drawing here, there is two passes, especially one pass for the hot flow and the other pass for the cold flow. I can clear the idea by show you this video. This simple video will show you where is the hot flow and where is the cold flow. As you can see in this video, this is the inlet of the hot flow. Pass through this plate and pass through the other plate and return back to the outlet. In the otherwise, you have the cold flow, which is going in this plate and the other side. Then it will return back to the outlet. Here we use many plates to increase the surface area as much as possible, to increase the contacting area, to maximize the heat recovery by this equipment, which is plate and frame heat exchanger. So this is generally the plate and frame heat exchanger. We need to understand the advantage of plate and the frame heat exchanger when we can use this type. High heat transfer efficiency required. This type of corrugated plates create high turbulence. This high turbulence required to maximize the heat transfer coefficient, which U, as we know in the general equation, UA delta T. So by increasing this turbulence, you increase the efficiency of the contacting between the cold side and hot side. So you use small compacted area in the field, but area as exchange is very high. Okay, so the compact size is one of the advantage for this type of exchangers. Very small footprint, ideal space limited plant. So if you are working in plant, this plant working with limited space, okay, so you can use this plate and the frame heat exchanger to maximize the heat recovery in your plant with this limited area. Easy maintenance for sure, can be opened and cleaned. These plates can be added or removed to adjust the duty and increase the capacity of exchanging. If you increase the capacity of your plant, you can increase the capacity easily for this type of exchanger. Okay, close temperature approach. If you are working with narrow margin of exchanging the temperature between the hot side and the cold side, maybe 1 to 3 degrees C, you can use this type of plate and the frame heat exchanger. Very effective for the heat recovery. Lower capital cost in comparison with the many other types like the normal heat exchanger and something like that. And flexible operation. Easy capacity expansion, as we mentioned, good for variable flow rate for the hot side and the cold side. So now we understand the basic idea related to this exchanger. You have many plates, 1, 2, 3, 4 plates, many plates, okay? All these plates increase the surface area for exchanging the temperature, okay? And you have pass to the cold stream and outlet, pass to the hot stream and outlet. Pass for the cold, pass for the hot, separated, okay? And there is a plates here, those plates separated by plate and the gasket, special gasket to separate the cold and the hot, okay? This is generally the plate and the frame heat exchanger and the advantage. What is the disadvantage from this type? Pressure and the temperature limitation for sure. It is not a wide selection range for temperature and the pressure. Limited by gasket material, typically limited for the pressure lower than 25 bar and the temperature lower than 200 degrees C. The gasket issue, if the gasket leak, make many troubles. Gasket may degrade, leak, need from time to time replacement, okay? The fouling sensitivity, you are working with the fluid in a narrow margin, narrow path, okay? So not suitable for slurry, for dirty fluid, for fluid with fibers or solid or something like that. Not suitable for a large pressure difference, okay? It's risky because you have many gaskets between each plate, okay? And the chemical compatibility. This is some fluid attack the gasket like amine, solvent, hydrocarbon, and something like that. So when you select the gasket to separate each plates, you have to be careful. Selecting the chemical maybe corrode this gasket easily, okay? Typical application and this heat and plate and flame heat exchanger required in some industry, some uses in oil and gas, like lean rich amine exchanger. It's famous to found in the TGT, for example. Lube oil cooler, glycol cooling in the gas dehydration, and seal oil cooler. You can find plate and flame heat exchanger also in utility stations and power stations related to the cooling water system or the boiler feed water system heat exchange. Okay, chemical and petrochemical also in the pelletizer system. If you work in the polymerization processes, you know the pelletization system, and you will find the plate and the frame heat exchanger in the pelletizer section. Okay, HVAC and the building, food and pharmaceutical industry also. Okay, when not recommended to use this type of exchanger when you are working with very high pressure more than 25, when you are working with very high temperature, okay, more than 200 degrees C, dirty or too much fouling fluid processing, service required absolute zero leakage with very critical leakage accessibility or selecting zero absolute leakage. Okay, this is not recommended to select this type of exchanger. This is a brief lecture about plate and frame heat exchanger. Okay, and finally I want to thank you and tell you appreciated for your listening. Thank you.